Hello and welcome to another edition of the Jet Report here on a Monday. No victory Monday this week, just pain. Only pain on this Monday. Grotesque game against the New England Patriots. 10-3 loss, mostly at the hands of the quarterback, Zach Wilson. If you want to become a member of the channel, you can do so by hitting the join button down below. If you want to, please subscribe. That would mean a great deal to me. And let's hop into today's episode, which it's going to be a frustrating one, man, because not only was Zach Wilson ineffective against the New England Patriots, he was abysmal. 9 completions and 77 passing yards. There's no defending that. That's atrocious. He followed it up and somehow made it worse by not taking any accountability. I don't quite understand. And I did the video earlier this morning, if you haven't seen it yet, but just to recap, I don't know how the takeaway could be, or your answer could be no, when he was asked if he felt like he or the offense, held back the defense or whatever the hell the question was. The point is, the answer is yeah. Hell yeah. Should have been the response. We were not good enough. I was not good enough today. How hard is it to say I was not good enough today? That doesn't completely take away or excuse your play, but at least that could give you some respect in the locker room, taking some sort of accountability, because right now it feels like the locker room is turning. That's what it feels like. I don't think it's completely out, but I don't think it's in a very good spot. And it's hard for me to blame the defense or anybody who's upset with Zach Wilson right now with that response. How could you possibly come out and say that? And you had Sauce Gardner, who accidentally liked a tweet, which I find this hysterical. The accidental liking of the tweets, not once, but twice. That happened with John Franklin Myers and Sauce Gardner. Here's Sauce's. Where it's a quote tweet, this was the tweet that was supposedly liked. He goes, "You don't owe your defense, Zach Wilson." And then Sauce liked it. And then he goes, "I swear I didn't mean to like this tweet. I only found out because y'all started tagging me. We going to be straight?" And then says, "If I liked it purposely, I just wouldn't have said anything. I always mistakenly like tweets on here, but y'all made sure to catch this one. Y'all toxic on here." That's funny. Sauce Gardner, great corner, not a great liar, which is okay. John Franklin Myers, same deal with him. We'll pull up John Franklin Myers's, which I noticed after the game. I don't believe that is still there, but he says, did he delete it already? Oh, no. Yeah. Jets Twitter. I ain't mean to like that tweet. We got faith in Zach for sure. Y'all stop looking for problems. We got 7 games left to ball, is what he said. I just realized I wasn't sharing the screen. There we go. We got 7 games left to ball. Y'all stop looking for problems. We got 7 games left. Well, he better look different against Chicago, because the Chicago Bears defense is terrible. They are 3rd worst against the pass, because if he doesn't, the fans are going to be out in full force. The Boo Birds will be out for that game. You can guarantee that. And I think your answer, because a lot of people are talking about benching Zach Wilson, and after a performance like that, I get it. Believe me. My guess is if Robert Saleh wasn't going to bench Zach Wilson in the 4th quarter of that football game yesterday, I would imagine after some damage control this week that Zach Wilson starts on Sunday against the Bears. If he has a bad half, it would not surprise me if Mike White came out and played in the second half. I don't think Mike White is your answer here, but I think you have to hold the quarterback accountable. And I stand by my original stance with Zach, who's saying that I want to see 2 full years and evaluate. But while we're in the middle of this right now, it's about as bad as it humanly possibly can get. And if they don't see a different quarterback over the next few games, or strike that, if they don't see a different quarterback on Sunday, they will make a change. I hate that it came to this. It's awful. This is not what you want to talk about. The team is 6-4. They had a great defensive game. but they were held back by Zach Wilson, significantly held back by Zach Wilson in both games against the New England Patriots. So they're 6-4 and their season's not over, but let's not pretend like this hasn't started to get bad because it feels like Zach is losing the locker room. And I don't blame anyone in that locker room after yesterday's answer or yesterday's, comments to the press that is upset with Zach. That's unacceptable. To perform at that level and then to come out and say no in that spot. Take accountability. Say, yes, I wasn't good enough today. I have to be significantly better for us to win games. I think you at least get the respect at that point. But that wasn't the case. And we'll go through your comments, and I'm sure it's going to be a down day. It's a down day for Jet fans. I would love for it to be a victory Monday. The Jets have now lost 14 straight to the New England Patriots, but really, really difficult day. Really difficult one, and hope things go better against the Chicago Bears coming soon. We have a super chat to get us started. We're gonna go to NY Jets fan forever. Says give Strevler a chance. He actually knows how to work in this offense. He has played in this style of offense on other teams, and bench Zach. He has on other teams in the CFL. Hasn't had much experience in the regular season NFL. Chris Strevler is not listed as QB2. So while I think I understand why I would or why someone would like to go to Chris Strevler, who hasn't started in the NFL, but has how many pass attempts? 25 pass attempts in 2020 and 2021 with the Cardinals in the regular season. I think if anything, it would be they'd go to Mike White, who is the de facto QB2. It's not Joe Flacco anymore. Flacco's been inactive. So if there were to be a change, it would be to Mike White. Robert S. says, what I don't understand is how you don't see the guys wide open right in front of you. He's doubting everything. And it just takes one thing right now for him to be thrown off. Just one. And it was the Denzel Mims drop, which was really bad. But then also the play where he sailed the ball to Conklin. And then it was like that moment is just something snapped. And that was it. It was just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again after that. And it was kind of like the first interception in the game the last time where you make that mistake and it's just complete meltdown. I don't know how you remedy it. It's definitely mental. There is physical talent there. There's a reason why he was selected in the top 5 of the draft. Is number 2 overall pick for a reason, but it's not clicking mentally. And I don't know what you do about it. Beating up on a bad Bears defense can be just what he needs, but he has to go out and do it. Yeah, easier said than done, right? I would love for that to be the case. I would love for him to go out there, throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but what's the confidence level in that actually happening? I don't know. After yesterday's performance, I'm not going to fault anyone who's upset or worried or out on Zach. I don't know how you could do that. Joel says Kojak, LaFleur, and Wilson got to go. I don't think LaFleur was very good yesterday, but I don't think he is the problem. I don't. I think when there's multiple times where your quarterback is missing wide open reads, that's not on the play caller. Phil Adams is hanging out with us. He says it will take more than a good performance from Zach Wilson against the Bears to get many of us back on his side. Yeah, it starts with taking accountability yesterday, I believe, right, Phil? That's where I am. It's going to take that and then multiple good performances string together. Vinny in the Jets says, I think the only way Zach gets benched is if he's injured. Salah is way too loyal. Um, I don't know. I don't know if he has that luxury of being loyal anymore. I think and again, probably a good reason because of where he was selected, they're going to give him every single chance. But it comes a point in time where you can't keep giving them the chances without the accountability. So something has to change. And if he comes out and has a bad half of football, I think they do pull the plug. If you had to draft a quarterback in April, who do you think? Well, the Jets aren't going to be really in a spot to take one of the big quarterbacks. It's C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft class, and he's going to go number one overall. So it's I don't know if there's going to be a quarterback where the Jets are picking in the 20s for them to take. I think it would be I think it'd be a veteran if you go that route. Dan in New York says, if we move off Zach Wilson, who would you prefer, Carr or Jimmy G? I would prefer Carr. I think Jimmy G is more likely because of the connection with the guys from the San Francisco 49ers. Like that one just seems to make a ton of sense. If I think there's even a world where it's Zach Wilson and Jimmy G go into next year battling it out. If things get better for Zach even. But Carr is the better quarterback of the two. This is just so stupid. The problem is the coach and the GM. They have too much invested in Wilson. They are far down on the problems. The coach and the GM is not the issue. Honestly, as bad as that game was, the post-game comments concern me more as a future franchise quarterback. Correct. Take accountability, man. Brian says a game manager performance against Chicago is no longer acceptable. You need a game immediately where you can see what he is capable of when the pressure is all on him. Correct. The game manager games are okay when you are going up against the Bills or the Patriots or Denver or the Packers who have really good pass defenses, but you have to show out and you have to play legitimately good football against teams like Chicago, Detroit, Jacksonville, Miami, Minnesota, who have lesser pass defenses. You can't get a 15 of 25 for 150 yards day and be okay with that against Chicago. You can't. There's a ton of pressure on him. The coin flip is undefeated. F the coin flip. They're winning on Sunday. Matthew says I need therapy after that game. All of us do. Therapy is a good thing, man. Lamar Jackson, please. The Lamar Jackson take, please. Do you want to know my take on Lamar Jackson, or are we just saying that's who we want? Because the Baltimore Ravens are not going to let Lamar Jackson go. There's no way that they are letting Lamar Jackson leave. They're too well run for that to happen. I like this one from Brian. Finn's benched Tua multiple times and he has made a comeback. Is Fitz available? Well, like I don't. Yeah, why is that like such a controversial thing? That's such a controversial thing right now. Is that if you bench him, that's it. It's done. Where it worked with Tua, but Rocky says if they stick with Zach, we'll miss the playoffs. If you get more of what you saw yesterday, then yeah. Carr has a no trade clause. Well, good thing there's never been a player who's waived a no trade clause before. Dan New York says keep Sauce and Garrett happy at all costs. I wish it was that easy. Wyatt says Zach is afraid to pull the trigger and let the ball fly. That it very much so feels like that. He's playing scared right now. He was scared to make a mistake yesterday, and he still did multiple times. Good question from Robert here. If Josh Allen, who's a superstar, owns up to his failures, who is Zach, who hasn't proven anything to accept the shortcomings in his game? I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. I'm in the exact same spot. It doesn't make any sense. Why can't you just come and say that it's a thing, that it wasn't good enough? Agree that the game management isn't going to cut it these weeks coming. Sam Mig 13 says they almost are scared to let him throw. It's so bad. No, Salah called out LaFleur at the press conference. He called his offense dog shit. It was dog shit. I think he was calling out the whole unit. I think he was calling out LaFleur specifically. They'll watch it back. They'll see what everyone saw. Edward says, I lost respect for Zach. I don't know how you couldn't after that. I don't know how you couldn't. Michael says, pull the C off of Zach's jersey. His comments were not very captain-like. This is an interesting one too. Do you empathize with Elijah Moore now? Not excusing his handling of the situation, but makes more sense now. I mean, I still think he handled it completely wrong. I got it then. I understood why he did it then. He wasn't involved, and I get the frustration, but I still think it was handled poorly. Ty Johnson is ass. Yeah, I don't know why he was a feature back. Him being the third down back makes zero sense. Salah is a carrot, not a stick guy. Zach Wilson needs the stick. He needs 250 yards at least on Sunday. No, I don't. At this point, I don't think so. Do you think Zach Wilson busts out? They move on from Jody? I hope not. Usually, and what I said earlier on, whether it be in the offseason or early on this year, when I said that it's rare that you see a GM get another shot at drafting a quarterback, it wasn't under the assumption that the Jets would be fighting for a playoff spot. That changes things a lot. My assumption was that if the Jets were in a position where they needed another quarterback, the whole team wasn't great. So, hey, Matt, one thing that bothered me was when Salah was asked about the second half spark. If he felt one, he hesitated and said, no, that is a clear shot against Zach Wilson. Um, I guess so. But did he not deserve that shot for yesterday? Jason says, so crushed by that game. Time to let Wilson grow up or move on. OC and staff partly at fault. No quarterback run game and game plan. No RPO. Did nothing to take advantage of the pack weaknesses on D. It's everyone's at fault, but it's hard not to put Zach Wilson at the front of the line for his performance yesterday. Scott V says, I miss Brees. I too miss Brees Hall. Another good point from Phil, who says Garrett Wilson is more of a captain than Zach right now. I thought he was absolutely right to react the way that he did in the post game, calling it sorry. It's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Yeah, I saw this one. Eric points out Robbie Sabo had the best take. It's mental. The switch flips, and Wilson gets super gun shy and doesn't trust himself to pull the trigger. Too worried about making mistakes. That's just. I agree 100% with Robbie on this one. I think that's the perfect way to surmise what's wrong with Zach is that he doesn't trust himself, and that's why my comment or take earlier this week was confident Zach Wilson is best Zach Wilson. And we saw confident Zach Wilson against the Buffalo Bills. He had a career high completion percentage, um, and played okay. He did everything that they asked him to in that game, but it's just this one is rough, man. It makes you want to pull your hair out because it's the regression is so frustrating. Zach should definitely walk back that comment today. I don't know how you don't. You have to win over that locker room, to get the respect of that locker room back. You have to. Yep. Robert says by the end of the year, we will know if Zach Wilson is the guy or not. It's a big 7 games. He has to have a drastic change over the next 7 games because if not, well, then you know. Tell me why Mike White doesn't deserve a chance with this team, just like Zach's last year's team had no talent. How can we keep saying Mike White is trash if he never had a good team? Zach is trash. I don't think Mike White is the answer. It really comes down to giving your something you invested a pick you invested so highly in that opportunity to develop and grow. Mike White's 27, 28 years old. He's not a 22 or 23-year-old quarterback. So I think he is what he is. And there's again, I think if he struggles, he being Zach struggles against Chicago, they probably pull him and put Mike White in. Um, but yeah, I think that's your answer. Your answer is because he's a number 2 pick, and they're gonna give him every opportunity to prove it. But it right now, it's on about as thin ice as humanly possible. Oh, yeah, that was hysterical. The JFM and Sauce Gardner accidentally liking those tweets is hysterical. More punts than pass completions is not acceptable. It's not. Absolutely not. Christopher says the dude will have no issues banging moms, but afraid to throw 20 yards down the field with confidence. That made me smile. Thanks for that, Christopher. Vincent said Zach's afraid to use his best attribute, and without that, he is an insecure quarterback. Yep, I could not have said it any better myself. That's a perfect way to describe what it's. It's a confidence level there. There's no denying that he is not confident in himself, and it's showing. It's showing. Jonathan says time to get Zach out of here. If his teammates don't believe in him, he's the quarterback and accepts no blame. Yeah, I like this point here too. It's sad because I don't think many fans thought this was the character that's what he was like character wise. From I've spoke to people who covered Zach Wilson at BYU, and while like there was this public rich kid narrative, right? I always point back to the interview that I did pre-draft where Jay Drew is talking about Zach Wilson doing DoorDash to pay for his trips to go out to California to train to play quarterback, and he's a film junk and like all this stuff. It's but then like you can't have that and then also have this awful handling of the post game yesterday. I get being frustrated. I would be frustrated too in that spot, but you have to own up to just how poor you played. You think he lays an egg on Sunday? Do you think they could get somebody like a Gardner Minshew? Not this year. That's it. Gardner's on a roster, no? Isn't he in Philly? Trade deadline's passed. That's something that you got to worry about going forward for next year. Jets can't afford another first round quarterback draft, maybe one in the third, but get a vet for a few years like Carr or Jimmy G. He needs to be who could be average starters, which is what this team needs. I don't think they're going to go quarterback early in the draft, like in the first round this year. Even with all the bad publicity this game caused the Jets, did anyone feel bad that Johnny missed out on his ice cream this week? Of course. Obviously, we love that kid. We need him to get his ice cream on Sunday. F F the coin flip. The Jets are winning on Sunday. We should have gotten Fields. Look, that was I think it was a reasonable debate at the Fields and Zach was a reasonable debate at the time. Fields is ahead of where Zach Wilson is right now. Imagine Mike White could pull a Nick Foles. That would be hilarious. Can someone tell me where the money is coming to pay a car? Well, luckily you can move on from contracts to create cap space, like Corey Davis, like potentially Carl Lawson. Um, there's ways to create money. Cap space is always just ask the Rams. There's ways to create money. Yeah, I like this one from Five Guy. We should have gotten Fields. Is a non-starter at this point. Doesn't matter if we should or should not have. We didn't, and right now Zach looks worse. Sucks, but we have to move forwards. Yep. Brandon Tierney shredded Zach Wilson this morning, and Tiki basically said that Zach Wilson plays like he doesn't know the playbook. There were some plays yesterday where it looked like he didn't know the playbook, and he deserves every shredding that he's getting right now. Can I say I told you so about Fields right now? I suppose so. I, uh, I guess I'm the anti-Fields guy because I said in 2021 that I lean Wilson, but would be happy with Justin Fields. So now I've always been the anti-Fields guy. Noted anti-Fields. Draft Max Duggan from TCU in the 4th round. Oh my god. I hate that this is where we're at right now. This team's 6-4, man. It shouldn't have to come to this. It shouldn't have to be the combo. Are the Zach Wilson fans blind that they cannot see this guy needs to be sitting down for at least a few plays? No, I think it's that they just want to ride out this Zach wave with the number 2 pick, and it's the coaching staff too. They don't wanna move, or the front office, they don't wanna move off this guy yet. Maybe it's a sit for a game or 2 and come back, but I don't know what you do right now. I don't have I don't have any answers. I don't know what you could possibly say after a performance like that. I don't know. What up? Game plan, everything I expected. Spread out offense to counter PS reads. It came down to ZW making the reads, and he couldn't. Happy feet, gun shy, and this unnecessarily side arming has to stop. Amen. Don't worry, a majority of this chat deserves, and I told you so more than you. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. That see, Brian, this is where the interpretation is wrong here. It said where you did a video about how bad Justin Fields was playing and demanded that everyone hold Fields to the same standard as Zach. The point was pointing out the flaw or the inherent bias that Zach Wilson dealt with this year. Now he has earned it up until this point, but let's not pretend like all of last year and through early on this year that Zach wasn't talked about differently than these other quarterbacks. I need you to be honest, truthfully. Has Zach had a good game this year? Yes, the Miami game was a good game. Other than that, no. He had a good quarter against the Steelers and was okay against the Buffalo Bills. Also, yes, let's talk about this instead. Went to a Menzinger show. How was it? I love those guys. It was a ton of fun. I honestly had a blast at that show. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of what the next concert I'm going to. Oh, in March is the next one, I'm pretty sure. I'm going up to Boston to see Dropkick Murphys on St. Patrick's Day. And my favorite band, the Turnpike Troubadours, are opening up. So that's my next one. The Menzingers were great. And I saw the lead singer to do like a solo acoustic kind of set at the Mercury Lounge in the city a few months before that. That was pretty cool too. Nah, they're not going to cheer for Fields on Sunday. They're just going to be chanting Mike White. And Fields might not play. He's injured. He's a little injured. Man, it's a sad Monday, man. Panic meter for Zach has officially started. How could it not? How could it not have? Our field's fantasy numbers make him that much better than Zach. None of the quarterbacks from last year's draft are lining up. It's hard to draft a franchise quarterback. Well, he's running the ball extremely well, and he's getting better as a passer. He's been pretty solid the last few weeks. Zach Wilson has terrible footwork. When he panics, yes, he does. He absolutely does. It's really tough when you got to grow when you got to grow up when you're 22. Well, that's what he's got to do. That's it, man. Christopher says if the Jets win Sunday, then things will be back to normal 7-4 and wild card hunt and some more winnable games. Every game is winnable and with this defense. That's true. You just can't have atrocious quarterback play, which is what you got yesterday. We'll see. It's a big Sunday is I don't want to say test because it's not really a test. It's I guess you're kind of seeing where your young quarterback is. Zach is terrible for my mental health. Thank you, Knobcraft. He's a member of the channel. If you want to join up, you can do the same. Hit that button below. Could it just be a mental block by New England? Perhaps. I don't know. Let's see. Those are the Strevler numbers. Let's do Zach Wilson. I want to do Zach Wilson against New England. We'll look it up right now. Splits career. Hopefully it has that game, but I don't know if it will. No, it doesn't have that one yet. It doesn't. It's actually worse than this because it's not counting that game. But yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. You can definitely beat Minnesota after beating the Bears. I'm not scared of Minnesota. I mean, look, Minnesota, tad fraudulent, yes, but it's I don't know. That's no cakewalk, man. It's not. Yeah, this is great. What is the dream that the Jets can get Lamar? Can you explain the how the franchise tag works for those who don't get it? Yeah, that's I want to make this clear. Lamar Jackson, as much as I think Lamar is a very good player, and I'm not saying that I don't want Lamar Jackson on the Jets. I'm saying that the Baltimore Ravens are not going to let Lamar Jackson get away. That is not a realistic option. Coin says we lose to the Bears. Fuck the coin, man. They're winning this week. Joe says Fields isn't the guy either. Lawrence is a future franchise quarterback. Okay. I don't know. I'm not going to debate you on that. On a quarterback who's not even on the Jets. I won't do that. I don't understand why anyone would chant for White. We've seen what he is and isn't. Why not Strevler? I guess I'm the only one. People being a winner matters. Strevler is a winner. Can't be worse. I just don't think they're going to do that. I think they view Mike White as QB2. I'm not saying that they're necessarily right or wrong with that assessment, but just based on everything we've seen, it feels like they believe Mike White is their QB2. So if they were to make a change, it would be White in my eyes. Oh, wait, it is counting that game. No, you guys are right. I apologize. Yeah, let me pull that back up. I don't know why. So 0-4, 50.94 completion percentage, 693 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 picks, a 50.6 rating, 11 sacks, 6.54 yards per attempt, 173 yards per game against the New England Patriots. Against everyone else, can we sort it by this? No, we can't sort it that way. That is the lowest quarterback rating against any team, the most amount of interceptions against any team, and the second worst completion percentage against any team. So there you go. That's my mistake. Yep, I'm Manish Mehta, exactly, because I said that Zach Wilson didn't play well yesterday with no insight. Well, did you watch the game with your eyes closed yesterday, sir? What the fuck is this? Come on, man. Oh God. Oh, there you go. USA won, Wales nothing. Go USA. I can't lie. I don't watch soccer, but Tony says we want Strevler, SOS. We don't need a crybaby on the field like Derek Carr. Jesus. This is just insane. Like, are we just going to pretend that Derek Carr wouldn't immediately be the second best quarterback in franchise history the second he stepped on the field? Good Lord. Once again, it's going to go to the draft positioning, and one being almost 30 and the other one being 23. Klecko wants to see a new OC. I don't think that is very likely. I think he's been okay. Is Bill the guy who sat behind me at the bar and said that Zach doesn't suck because he's an NFL quarterback and I'm watching on TV? Could be. Yes, very, very well could be. I love that one. It's like, you never played. You don't know what you're talking about. I hate that. That shit is so funny to me. Jeremy says we'll be trotting out Carr Jimmy G next year. I really think a Jimmy G is probably most likely just based on their connections in San Francisco. A press conference apology would go a long way. I agree. Mr. Pawn says get Jimmy/Carr, then draft a quarterback. Quarterback class is deep. Okay. All right. I think Jimmy G, like I said, I think that's probably the most realistic one. Um, my way too early subject to change guess is that it's going to be Jimmy G and Zach competing next year for the starting job. Jake says needs Zach 3 to 4 touchdowns with 300 plus yards this Sunday versus the Bears to flip the script. He needs a bounce back performance in the biggest way, and it can't be 150 to 200 yard performance. It's got to be 300. Bill makes me laugh. Matt Nish Meta. You're just giving a short-sighted take that has no merit. Go back to what Namath took to grow into a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Go Jets. Well, are we comparing the 19 fucking 60 NFL to the 2022? What are we doing, Bill? Jesus. Do you think we could trade for Rodgers in the offseason and go for a Super Bowl run? I want no part of Aaron Rodgers. I think he is so mentally checked out. I don't see it. David Carr is not a good fit because he's never played in cold weather. Well, David Carr is on TV, so that makes the sense. So that makes a ton of sense. But Derek Carr has not played in TV. Has not played in cold weather. I guess that's fair. I'm gonna make Matt have a stroke on live YouTube. This is, I mean, probably, but this is the life that I chose. For some reason, this is what I decided to do with my time, my energy, my career. But it's days like today is a tough one, but in the long run, it's hell of a lot better than doing a 9 to 5. So I guess that's a win. I hate when we can't get our quarterback from a draft. Now we have to spend money to bring in a decent dude to get us to a Super Bowl. Oh well. Bring in Uncle Rico. Yeah, Uncle Rico. That's QB1, baby. That's who I want. Thank you, Chris A. You're a real one. Comparing Matt to Manish Mehta is blasphemous. Hashtag agree. Why can't we move Strebler up to the active roster and push Flacco to the practice squad? I don't know. Do not know. I would take this shit show over 9 and 5 1,000 out of 1,000 times. Over a 9 to 5 1,000. Yes, that's as do I. I'm a little it's a little bit frustrating, but you're 100% right. I am believe me, I am blessed that I get to do this every single day. I am extremely 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 happy. Um but I'd be lying to you if I said that it doesn't get frustrating at times, but believe me, it's first world problems. Jerry from the Wawa on Route 70 in Medford is a better option to start under center. Oh my god. Let's start Bill at quarterback. What's his availability? I mean, he's talking about name it that quarterback. He's got to be what, a ripe 70, maybe. Derek Carr looked pretty good 2 years ago, beating the New York Jets with the bomb in the cold weather. That's true. True. He's also share the screen. Is he the greatest ever? No, but is he going to give you consistently in the mid 60s in completion percentage, over 4,000 yards and in the mid 20s in touchdowns? Yeah, that's pretty good. Imagine Minshew Mania in New York. That'd be fun. He's fun at least, right? It'd be good content. We did bring back Vinny. His name is Flacco. Yeah, I mean they're not quite the same age, but they were both at very late stages of their careers when they came back to New York Jets. Will Levis. I don't think he's going to be there, dude. I think he's probably going to go in the top half of the draft. I don't think he's going to be there when the Jets are picking. Zach is soft like baby shit. Thank you for making me laugh. Oh god, you guys are the best. This is true. Jimmy and Derek are better than Minshew. Come on, y'all. You're not wrong. Albert, stop this. Look, I was on the Baker Mania train in 2018, but it's a no go. It's a no from me. I can't do that. Bill, congrats on the competitive tennis, my friend. I'm glad that you're still staying active in your mid 60s. You're the best. Thank you for commenting. You would start me over Zach. By the way, have you seen the training camp video that I made last week? Or last year, rather, not last week. I could play. I could throw. 6'4", an unathletic 225. I'm in, man. What's going on? It's nice. I don't know. This is just we're off the rails here. Justin Hardy is a real captain. Did you see his post game? Yes, I did. I was very impressed with his response. I think he handled it well. His unit was on the field when the game ended, and it was a bad play and everything. There was illegal blocking the back. Yes, of course there was. Um, but it's was they should they have punted out of bounds? Of course, but they lost because they scored 3 points and because the quarterback was completely ineffective. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for sticking with me, especially Bill, who's 65 years old and still plays competitive tennis. Congrats to him. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe here if you're new, and we'll talk to you next time.